Two sacred days on the Australian calendar do clash next year. As you know, Easter Monday and Anzac Day fall on the same day. And this has created a dilemma whether or not we have an extra public holiday on the Tuesday, and which one should it be? The government is proposing the Easter Monday holiday be moved one day back. And I'm wondering whether that washes with you this morning, moving one day so we don't lose a day off. Cameron Dick is the Queensland Attorney-General. Good morning, Minister.
Good morning, Madonna.
Why are you proposing moving that holiday to keep a public holiday?
Well, we've just got a very unusual situation in 2011. It's the first time that Anzac Day and Easter Monday fall on the same day. And ever since the first Anzac Day in 1915, this has never occurred. So it creates, I suppose, a unique situation, which is why we're going out to the community, business people, industry people, unions representing workers, and also the education sector to seek their views on whether we should have a substituted holiday, which is what the Relevant Holidays Act provides.
How did you decide who you would consult and who you wouldn't consult?
I suppose the key groups I thought to consult were a business who represent employers and the cost to business perhaps that might flow from a further public holiday, although there'll be no additional public holidays in Queensland next year. There'll still be the standard 10 public holidays, so there shouldn't be any great cost. Representatives of workers, of course, because it's important that workers and their families get time together on public holidays, and the education sector, because Easter falls at the end of the Easter school holidays next year, and there might be an implication for educational institutions, particularly schools, for coming back to school after the Easter holiday.
And what kind of feedback have you received so far?
Well, look, at the end of the day, it's just consultation period has just closed, so I'm yet to work through everything. I know there's been some public comments about the proposal, but look, it's a very unique set of facts, a very unique set of circumstances. During the Second World War, Anzac Day coincided with Easter Sunday in 1943, but there was no substituted holiday then, and you can perhaps understand that during the depths of the Second World War that it wouldn't be appropriate to have an extra public holiday. But my view, I think, is that we need to. People are very busy, their lives are very full at the moment, and public holidays does give them an opportunity to refresh, recharge, and spend time with families.
So is it an issue of we're getting the extra day holidays and it's a matter of what it's called?
Yes.
Or is the issue whether or not we get the extra day?
Look, I think at the end of the day, it's really. Look, if the feedback was overwhelmingly against a substituted holiday, I would need to pay attention to that. But I suppose the government's view is that we think people should have 10 public holidays. It's a very unique fact situation. We don't want to disrespect the sanctity either of Anzac Day and Easter Monday, respecting Easter Sunday, really. We want to make sure that that's properly respected, but we need to balance that out with the need for public holidays.
Are you saying Easter Monday is a day of religious significance in a way?
Well, for some people it might be. For some people it may very well be. For many people who may not have a Christian faith, it is a long weekend, which is an important time for them for school holidays also, but also to spend with their families.
So you've consulted church leaders?
No, we haven't at this stage, no. But it's always happy to hear from church leaders if they have a particular view about what we should be doing as well.
What about the RSL? Have you consulted them?
Yes, I understand something has gone to the RSL, but of course the Anzac Day Act provides that Anzac Day is to be observed on the 25th of April. That is a set public holiday, so there'll really be no deviation from that. It's what we do with the Easter Monday holiday, where we should do that, whether we should have that designated on the Tuesday.
If these are nationally recognised public holidays, why do the states have the power to move them around?
That's a good point. Look, historically, it's been a function of the Federation that states have been responsible for public holidays, but there has been some discussion at a national level through the Council of the Australian Federation. That's all of the state premiers and territory chief ministers to try and bring some uniformity into that. And I think at a meeting in 2008 there was a discussion about having uniform holidays, and that's probably something that's worth having a look at.
Across the year, the uniform holidays?
Well, I think that's going to be a bit hard, but certainly for Anzac Day, there's been some discussion about national days of significance, and that would be Australia Day and Anzac Day as our important national days.
What are other states doing about Anzac Day and Easter Monday next year?
Look, my advice is that Victoria and Western Australia are going to have a public holiday on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, the 26th of April, they've already designated that to be a public holiday in Victoria and Western Australia. But New South Wales, South Australia and the ACT are like Queensland. We're considering that. They're all considering that at the moment.
Have you left it a bit late to discuss it? You're asking those you've asked for a response to be back to you by June 11.
Well, no, generally the public holidays where there is a need for a designation or a substituted holiday, that usually occurs later in the year, sometime, around October or later. So I think we've got plenty of time to work through that issue before we make a final decision.
In the letter that's gone out to people, you say, give us your answer by June 11. That passed a little while ago. Can you give us any indication of whether people are for or against the idea?
Oh, look, no, I can't at this stage. I haven't gone through all the letters, to be honest with you. The department will provide me with a summary of those, and I'll have a look at them in particular cases. But I'll have a sit down with all of the departmental officers, and we'll work through key issues going forward.
You've listed all those that you sent letters to or you consulted. Well, why not church leaders?
Look, I think it was probably the department providing me with advice on the standard list of people who are consulted. In these sort of circumstances when it comes to public holidays. I don't think it was probably just an oversight by them, but I'm happy to listen to anyone in the community really that has a view about public holidays, and if they think something should happen or not happen, I'm always happy to hear that as well.
How should they contact you?
They can contact me at my office, and they can send me an email. That's attorney@ministerial.qld.gov.au, and that might be the quickest way to get in touch.
attorney@ministerial.qld.gov.au. Attorney General, thank you.
Great. Thanks, Madonna.
That's Attorney General Cameron Dick. Scott Driscoll is head of the United Retail Federation, one of those who were asked their view by the Attorney General. Good morning.
Good morning, Madonna.
You find it an offensive idea that the Easter Monday holiday would be moved?
Well, Madonna, just listening to the Attorney General then, I think it's indicative of the fact that he's certainly not across his brief. And to have overlooked consulting with what you'd think would be a critical constituency, i.e. the churches on this, when you're shifting a religious public holiday, I think is just extraordinary. I think what we need to understand from the Attorney General is indeed what is at question here. He didn't answer your question about whether indeed we're actually looking at creating a new day, whether we're just changing days. But the fact remains you can't have an Easter Monday holiday on a subsequent Tuesday.
But it appears most other states are doing it this way. Why shouldn't we too? Why shouldn't there be fairly much a national approach?
Well, I don't know that we always need to have a Me Too approach in Queensland. I think what we've got to do here is look at what works for Queensland. The Attorney General seems to be at arm's length from all of this, and I just wish perhaps on this one that he might have been a little bit better briefed.
Well, wouldn't having another public holiday benefit retailers if shops are open and people have the day off to shop?
Well, Madonna, there's an enormous cost involved with willy-nilly throwing out the prospect of public holidays here and there. I mean, I think the Attorney General owes it to the business community in Queensland to be a little bit more clear on what the options are, a little bit clearer on indeed what his intentions are, and to bring himself up to speed. I mean, if you're adding an extra third of wages at the end of the day for a particular week when you've thrown in a public holiday, that is something the business community takes very, very seriously.
You're known to be a Conservative supporter. Is this about what businesses think, or is this a political point you're making?
Well, I'm always a fiscal Conservative, Madonna, and at the end of the day, I think businesses are fiscal Conservatives as well, and they need to watch every penny at the moment when we're in such a downturn and such a patchy recovery on the way.